This ZX10 Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by Red Square for ultimate activation. Hello and welcome all you race fans. I hope you are strapped in and comfortable because we are going to bring you round 5 action from the Extreme Festival. It is the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup here at the Phakisa Freeway, and as you can see, the spectators have poured in here. Haven't seen this many spectators since the MotoGP races. Ian Hardwood from Bridgestone not racing today, so he's full of energy. Had one too many red squares, I'm sure. Michael Smith, welcome return for Michael Smith after that massive crash out at Kyalami. Great to see that he's up and okay. Getting the final preparations done then in pit lane. Everyone is trying to beat that man, Graham from Edar. Henk Scaling looking racy. So too is Jonty Collard as his riders prepare themselves to head out on track. Yakukos and that man, Gareth Bezanote, the biggest challenges to Graham from Edar out front, as is the returning Carl Robertson, looking very fast out on track. Ruan Alberhauser, he's looking very calm and collected before these riders head out on track for their first qualifying session and their 2 10-lap races. It's going to be an almighty battle. Like I said, I hope you are sitting back and comfortable because you are going to watch world-class racing about to head out on track. The riders are ready. Join us after the break for Race 1 action here at Phakisa. Welcome back. We are at Phakisa Freeway out in the Free State. And a very big welcome to all the spectators that have come through. Like I said, we haven't seen this many spectators since the last MotoGP race here back in the early 2000s, so really is great to see. Joining me as always is Dave Peterson. And Dave, tricky conditions out there for the riders because it is really cold.
We got here this morning, Rob, it was -2 degrees on our dashboard, and it's warmed up a little bit for this first race. But as you say, and that does mean tyre wear could also become an issue. I'm not sure if the new Bridgestones are really affected by that much. But everybody's out to get hold of Graham van Breda. He's the man who's won every race so far this year, and you can see he's really confident on the line. Right, we're waiting for the red light to go off, and we are racing. 5th round of the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup at Phakisa.
25 motorcycles heading into turn 1. What a great, look at that from Redar going around the Carl Robinson. Where did Carl Robinson come from? The second row of the grid, and he's not waiting to get any heat into those Bridgestone tyres. He's railing it around the outside as we go on board here with Jonty Collard behind Johan Leroux, so not the start that he would have wanted. He's trying to get some heat into those Bridgestone tyres before he mounts his attack.
Also great to see Johan Leroux back on the bike. He did make an appearance at Kyalami, but looking much stronger here today, as is Appanna Ganapathy there. Appanna loves this track. That's the corner that he had his big accident 2 years ago. Took him a while to get over that one.
Yeah, he's very much back and on the pace now. Michael Smith on the inside of him, so good recovery from Michael Smith after that big crash last time out at Kyalami. Great to see so many bikes lined up on the grid here doing battle. Carl Robinson and Yakukos are bringing Gareth Bezanote along for the ride, and they are chasing down Graham from Edar at the front end. Not such a good start there for Brian Bontekonen as we go on board with the screaming Appanna Ganapathy.
Listen to that bike as they come to the fastest part of this track. These two right-handers, third, fourth gear, into fifth as they go down that back straight at 200 plus. And look at the speed of those Kawasaki's. Brilliant part of the racetrack. And I remember this at the MotoGP. Even the overseas riders loved this part.
Yeah, this really is a spectacular. These are fastest sweeps in the country. Go through this right-hander, like you said, click it down into third gear before the slowest turn on the bend into second gear for the hairpin. Appanna Ganapathy, California Superbike school instructor, does all his instructing here at Phakisa, so he really does know this place backwards. We're going to come through, complete the first lap of asking. Peter de Vos in a good battle there with Brian Bontequin and Jonty Collard trying to make his way through. Good dices already all the way through the field.
Teddy Brooke, better start from him as well. Johan Leroux right in the mix, and that's after a massive accident at Swartkorps. Couple of ribs broken, shoulder injuries. Great to see the man back in the saddle.
Here's a good little dice. Chris du Plessis not too far behind there. Wayne Spicer, Mornay Portkita, Ruan Albaza. But from Midor is starting to extend that lead now over Carl Robinson. Look at the lean angle these riders are getting. Gareth Bazano outside that top three for now. He'll want to get himself onto that podium.
Gareth has been working so much on the setup of that motorcycle to suit his riding style and the new Bridgestone tyres. Jaco Goos, the latest breaker on the track at the moment. And from Midor, he's got him in his sights actually. Looks like Graham maybe just looking at keeping the tyres nice and warm, not overheating the tyres. Carl Robinson, the man in the mix though, that really could upset Jaco Goos.
Look at this massive battle. Brian Bontequin is at the head of it. Jonty Collard's right on his tail. Appanna Ganapathy's right in the mix there. Johan Leroux is also in there. Cole Robeck's right in the mix as well. As we go on board with Jonty Collard, is he going to try and make a move on the inside? No, but he can get the drive out of the two Incinis. A little bit wide there from Bontequin, and you need to hug that apex and potentially line up a move on the inside here, although you've got to be very brave to shove a bike on the inside there. Fourth gear, 200 plus k's an hour.
Especially when it's minus 26 degrees on a winter's morning at the Phakisa freeway. Just mentioning Carl Robeck, good to see him up there as well. He's been looking for the double jump coming out of the hairpin because you know he's an off-road rider. Keeps saying, I don't know where the double jump is on this track, but he's putting in a brilliant performance.
Look at this battle. This is an almighty battle, and Brian Bontequin, and if one man knows how to make a motorcycle wide and not let anyone pass, it's Brian Bontequin, and he's doing that right now. Jonty Collard looking a little bit frustrated there. He's going to line up a move on the inside. Brilliant time to go on board with Collard. It's going to be brave to outbreak him there. He gets it stuck in. Does he hold the line? Beautiful move there from Collard. Can he close down now on Peter de Vos and the chasing battle ahead of him?
Appanna Ganapathy right on their tail. He's having a brilliant ride. Get that bike a little bit sideways over that bump there. There's another big bump coming his way as well. So he'll know about that because he's worn a groove. And we've got to change up for second position. Jaco Goos has got past and he's into second place right now. Carl Robinson just slipping back one position there as at the bottom end of the circuit.
Gareth Bazano, he's now charging up into the top three. So it looks like Robinson maybe just pushed a little bit too hard too early and suffering a little bit with those R11 tyres out there with grip. Remember, these riders still have to use those tyres for race number 2. So he's looking maybe to preserve that and hold onto that podium. But still, that massive battle going on just behind them. Here's another battle going on between Wayne Spicer, Chris du Plessis, Mornay Portkita, Gareth Jackson, Andre van Vollenstein, Clifford Ogle, Phakisa Temba, Aubrey Marais and JB Skuman. So good rides all the way through the field up down to 25th place.
JB right on the tail there of Aubrey Marais. They quite often have a big dice and it goes unnoticed because you're further down the field, but they absolutely love it as well. And you can see there Gareth Bazano has closed down just a little bit on Carl Robinson. So Carl under a bit of pressure now for that final podium position as we're going to turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like stationary stuff as we've seen all season long. Fambridar out front, Jaco Goos in second, but that battle for third place now between Gareth Bazano and Carl Robinson very much raising. Once again on board here with the Appanna Ganapathy. He's looking to get up inside the top 5. He's got to somehow get ahead of Michael Schmidt. As we go back ahead now for this battle for the top 3, you can see Bazano right all over the tailpipes now of Carl Robinson. Going to get a good drive out here. There's the big bump there. Oh, Robinson goes defensive, but here comes Bazano on the inside. Yes, he does. Brilliant outbreaking. Is he going to get it stopped? That's the question now. Brilliant move from Bazano up into third place.
And what's brilliant, Rob, as well, is that you got the old ZX10s versus the new ZX10s out on track. Look how equal they really are.
They really are. And the Bridgestone tyres all running those new R11s, really holding up nicely in this race despite the track conditions there. Not the best that we've seen them at Phakisa Freeway. Bontequin still got that trail of riders right on his tail. Johan Leroux now is the man up next with Teddy Brooke trying to get past the very bright coloured Brian Bontequin.
Teddy Brooks gained at least 30 metres just in that lap. Andre van Vollenstein, and he has got Gareth Jackson, Action Jackson, going up on the inside of him. but he'll come back at him as they go down the back straight. Looks like he might just get it as it comes through the big sweeper.
Oh yeah, Jonty Collard now trying to make a move on Michael Smith. So Michael Smith maybe suffering a little bit from that injury that he suffered at Kyalami, just dropping off the pace ever so slightly. He's dropped into the clutches now of Jonty Collard, so we could have a change up there. Peter de Vos right on their tail. Great shot of all the riders coming through that sweep there onto the front straight. Collard again suffering with that bad start. He's got the pace to run up inside the top 5, just got to sort out those starts.
No, there's nothing like getting a bad start at this track because there's so many corners, lots of overtaking maneuvers available, but there's a one line on this track at the moment because it's a bit green, there's not too much rubber down on the surface.
Yeah, people forget this track hasn't been resurfaced since the MotoGP days, so it really is an old surface here. Not the same kind of grip as back then, but these R11s and these riders, the lap times these guys are pulling out of these tires and motorcycles is so impressive, especially this little group here. Peter de Vos on the bright white bike there. You can see he's making his way through now, but just can't get onto the tailpipes of Smith and Collard to make the move. Here comes Collard on the inside. We saw Bezuidenhout, his teammate, do it not so long ago. Can't quite get it going there. So Collard's going to have to think about maybe potentially Coke bottle or down the front straight.
There's a big dice going on behind that we keep looking at with Brian Bonderkoning, and I keep getting mixed up. Dale Nieuwenhuis, he looks a little bit like Kyle Robinson out on the track. Their bikes are the same color, and even their leathers are the same color. They look very familiar and similar on the bikes.
Yeah, here's a good little battle going on between Chris Du Plessis and Wayne Spicer. Spicer still behind Du Plessis, so good ride this from Du Plessis, but out front it is Graham from Bidar. Looks comfortable there, coming to the checkered flag, and it's another dominant performance from him. Who can stop him? Jaco Koos is going to pick up another second place. It's like kissing your sister once again. Gareth Bezuidenhout going to hold on to third, just ahead of Kyle Robertson, and what a ride, a little bit further back. Look at this, coming to the line. Will Collard get Smith? No, he doesn't. Smith holds on to that 6th place. So overall results then, it is Graham from Bidar, Stefanuti Stocks, Kawasaki out front, Jaco Koos, Gareth Bezuidenhout, Kyle Robinson, Appanna Ganapathy, Michael Smith, Jonty Collard, and Peter de Vos down there in 8th place. Great ride from our top 8 riders in race number 1.
Great race. I know you can't hear me, but it's all good.
The start wasn't that great. Had Brian and Peter come past me, and then during the race had another 2 guys past me. Had to settle down a bit, settle down about halfway through the race, and then really got going. Put my head down, worked hard at it, and I think I was catching up to Kyle, possibly, but it was really far away. But it was a good race, really enjoyed it. I want to say thanks to Kawasaki, Red Square, and my sponsors, Art Racing.
Great to see Kyle Robertson running at the sharp end of the field again.
Yeah, I had a real crack of a start, and I actually hung around the outside of Graham around turn 1, and then just hung on for dear life to try and keep up to him. I had the pace to keep my second there, but at the end, halfway through the race, pump up and some fitness issues got the better of me, and I was actually a sinking ship at the end. So hopefully for the second heat I can breathe a little better, and maybe come home on the podium would be nice. Just a big thanks to Red Square, Kawasaki and Bridgestone for the support and all the help in this championship series, and thanks to my sponsors and my family. Cheers.
Time to get those new Bridgestones fitted. It's time for some refreshments. Join us after the break for Race 2 action from Phakisa. Welcome back to Phakisa Freeway, and as you can see, the spectators are coming hoarding in here by the dozens and really enjoying the race action out on track 4 and 2 wheels. But it's all about the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. It's round number 5 here down in Welkom, and it's just so great to see all these spectators come through, even on this chilly day, come enjoy some racing action. Great to have Mark and Tracy with us. They are from Red Square. They've been the biggest supporter of this category since day one. So, Dave, that is great to have them here at the track.
It is fantastic. Rob, I've just looked down at the temperature in the van here, and it's up to 25 degrees, getting pretty warm. I wonder how that's going to affect tyre wear. Will they change the tyre pressures? Dale Nieuwenhuis, bike number 27. That's a famous number out there in motorcycle racing. You know what's great here as well, Rob? All the riders helping each other get their bikes ready for the second race. Some guys have a few problems. There's always somebody standing by to give some help.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And another thing about this category is you can go for under 200 grand. You can go buy yourself an old ZX10 and come and be competitive. The guys like Gareth Bezuidenhout has just proved it, that this is a good, affordable way to go racing, and Bridgestone do a great job.
I'm selling mine for $139.9.
That's a good price. But right now, it's time to go racing for race number 2. Right, the marshals are ready. The riders are getting lined up on the grid. It's race 2 time. Like you said, temperatures nice and warm up there now. So tire pressure is going to come into play. Tire wear is going to come into play. There's a lot more grip out there from the four-wheeled action that we had earlier on in the day. So I expect some lap times to drop there. Can this man, Carl Robertson, the returning Carl Robertson, getting back to form now, charge down on Graham Fromidar at the front end of this field. Another podium finish for Gareth Bazane on the old school ZX10 model. Just shows you still a competitive machine. Yakukos, he'll be wanting to get up on that top step. Another second place for him in race 1, and that is it. Graham Fromidar, your championship leader, dominating this championship so far this year.
30-second board runs away. Wait for those red lights to go off, and we've got a clean start right here. The final race of the day for the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. Who gets whole shot down turn 1? Yaku Ghost, but Fromidar goes straight around the outside, followed by Kyle Robinson, the Fantech rider, and Stephanie Stock straight away into 1 and 2.
Brian Bontekun in a much better start. He's up into 5th place there, just behind this chasing pack. So brilliant stuff there on board now with Yakukos as they come through this fast section, down into the boot, on the brakes there, down into second gear. Got to really be careful there. Look at Brian Bontekun, and he's already going defensive there. Bazane didn't get the start that he wanted. He's got caught out a little bit. There's Johan Leroux. What a start up just behind Teddy Brooke with Michael Schmidt just on his tail.
And he said to hell with traction control that time around. Did you see the back end of that bike sliding out and said, we don't need traction control around this track. Just take a handful of nearly 200 horsepower.
Old school stuff there from Johan Leroux coming through. Hank Scaling running a little bit wide there. That's cost him a few track positions. Fromidar out front. Yakukos had to get the start. He's got to start disrupting the rhythm of Graham Fromidar at the front end of this field.
Hank Scaling having a lot of problems with that bike here today. He had it also down in East London. A lot of problems with that bike. I think he should take it to TD Motorcycles down in Pioneer Street in Zimbabwe. Maybe they'll sort it out for him.
They'll probably sort it out. One shot for him. Fromidar onto the back straight. Bontekun in much better start, running in 4th place there as the rest of the field comes streaming through. Appanna Ganapathy, not the start. Jonty Collard once again. We're going to have to give him some launch lessons because he can run top 5, but not if you're going to be all the way down in about 11th place.
He's got his work cut out now, hasn't he? Because look at all those bikes ahead of him. He has got the lap time, there's no doubt about it. Also, not a great start from Michael Smith either. I see he's also further down the field. So it's all about the start, really. But you're going to see a lot of changes as the race goes on. A good start again from Teddy Brooke as well.
What just shows you, Brian Bontekun and Teddy Brooke were nowhere near this kind of pace at in race number 1. But they got the start, and look at them running up at the front here. Appanna Ganapathy tried to make the move on the inside of Nivenace. Wasn't able to make it stick again. Not the start that he wanted, and he's stuck behind riders that he knows he's got more pace than.
There is Graham Fromidar way out front, but big dices are going on behind him. Brian Bontekun here. Appanna starting to move through the field as well. Peter de Vos, also a good move from him on that lap. Jonty Collard once again fighting from that start. And Dale Nivenhuis just behind them. He is the Carl Robinson lookalike.
Gareth Bazane, he's got some work to do now because he's not at the moment closing down on Carl Robinson. He's being held up there by Brian Bontekun, and you can see him trying to make the move behind Bontekun. And there is Gareth Bazane. See, he's losing touch now with that top 3. He finished on the 3rd place on race number 1. Now he's going to try and slipstream here, potentially on the inside. I don't think he's going to make the move. He's not close enough there. This is not what Gareth Bazane. He can just see the top 3, especially Robinson, just clear away in the distance.
And as you say, Brian Bontekun, he's good on the brakes. Very difficult guy to get past. He might have a little bit more pace than Brian, but he's stuck behind him at the moment. And as you say, the leading trio are long gone.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do here now. He's going to have to try and just do an old school block pass, shove it on the inside, but Bontekun does not let you do that. Fromidar is clearing out. We can see that now. Robinson's a lot closer to Coast than he was in race number 1. Then there's this brilliant battle. There's a 4-way battle going on for that 4th place between Bontekun and Teddy Brooke. Appanna Ganapathy, he's trying to close in on that. Peter de Vos just behind them. Michael Schmidt, Jonty Collard, and Dale Nivenhuis right inside that top 11. Guy Didcott, he's up into 13th place on track just behind Johan Leroux. That's a good ride there from Mr. Didcott.
And local rider Lafraz Fritz having a better run this time around. First race he must have had some problems, so good ride from him as well. He's down in 15th place at the moment.
Yeah, that's another point in the championship. There's a good battle going on between Clifford Ogle and Ruben Alberhauser. So those two riders ever improving with every single lap that they go around the track. Chris Duplessis once again in a massive battle with Wayne Spicer. They've literally been glued together in race 1 and doing it again here now in race 2.
I think Chris has got some Velcro stuck to the back of his seat that Wayne is attached to. But look at that, these two are stuck together like cement. and they know each other backwards. I mean, look there now. Spicer's saying, hang on, if I can just get the drive down the back straight, I can squeeze past.
And Wayne Spicer knows how to make a move. We've seen him all through the season being able to make those moves, especially late on in a race. Very fit man is Wayne Spicer. As we go back now to the front end of the field, here's that Brian Bontekonen battle. And just behind them, you see still holding off Gareth Bezuidenhout. So frustrated for Gareth. But here comes Appanna Ganapathy. There comes Appanna. He really is closing, and he's bringing Michael Smith along for the ride. Jonty Collard at the moment is the biggest disappointment, not making inroads. What a beautiful shot there from the drone coming onto the front straight.
Just looks like Graham van Breda is eking out a small lead at the front of the pack. On board of the Appanna as we go down to the turn one. He's gone past Michael Smith. Appanna knows his way around the track. That's a great move, and that'll move him up into 7th place on the road.
Yeah, Jonty Collard trying to follow him along because he's got the pace to tag onto the back of Appanna. Appanna, actually one of the fastest men on the track at the moment, setting top 3 lap times. Teddy Brooks still chasing down on Gareth Bezuidenhout just ahead of him, and Brian Bontekonen still, here we go, side by side. Oh, elbows were out there. Gareth is not a small man by no means. Got those elbows out. You can see very frustrated on the inside and up into 4th place, but I don't know if he's got enough time. As I say that, commentators curse. He is a man on the move. He's giving that Bridgestone and that Kawasaki everything he's got. Bontekonen back on the inside, and they swap positions once again. This is Moto 3 stuff from these two riders. Bezuidenhout holding down that 4th place, and here comes Teddy Brooke.
The spectators at that Coke bottle section will be loving that. That's Henk Scaling back on the bike, trying to hear if it's got a misfire. It's been missing all day long. And there, a great shot of Phakisa Temba on his bright white and red bike.
Coming down the back straight, Bezuidenhout has held off the challenge there of Bontekonen, who's lost out now as well to Teddy Brooke. Teddy Brooke looks on fire at the moment. He's trying to go around the outside of Gareth Bezuidenhout in that battle for 4th place. Just behind them, Appanna Ganapathy right on the tailpiece now of Peter de Vos. Our leaders come down the front straight. Another lap clicked off, and another lap at the front end for Graham van Breda. Jaco Koos, it is the final lap, so here's the time to make the moves. Bezuidenhout's got up into 4th, but hasn't got the time or the pace to close down on that top 3. Can Teddy Brooke get himself into his best finish of the year, up into 4th place?
Teddy's definitely found something in the closing stages of this race. Van Breda, I'm just looking at the lap charts now. He's got a 3-second lead over the 2nd place rider, Jaco Koos, and then another 2 seconds back to Kyle Robinson. So Van Breda's got this one under control. 100% record for this year, and I think the number 1 plate is not going to be so heavy this time around.
Yeah, he's just looking unbeatable at the moment. Kyle Robinson, though, this is the man I think that could bring the charge a little bit later on. It's only his 2nd or 3rd race back, and he's right on the pace. Appanna Ganapathy now closing down on Peter de Vos. This is the final lap to try and get himself up into that 7th place. De Vos runs a little bit wide. It is that double apex, though, gets that bike stood up, but here comes Appanna lining up a move into Coke Bottle on the inside. Is he going to go defensive? He does. Oh, that's a tight line. Is he going to be able to hold it? That is impressive stuff from the California Superbike School instructor.
Peter de Vos takes those wide sweeping lines. Normally comes back under the power as it come out of the turn for the cutback. Didn't manage to do it quite that time. There is the gap from 1st to 2nd to 3rd. It has spread out at the front of the field. Great lap times from these riders, but the big dice, of course, has been going on beyond, which we've been concentrating with Teddy Brooke, Brian Bontekonen, and Appanna Ganapathy. We're on board with Jaco Koos as we come down to the last stages of this race, waiting for the checkers. Ooh, right off the power as he comes through the hairpin. He's got a cruise at this stage of the race.
Yeah, he must be hating life. He's finished 2nd place just about every race this season. Van Breda comes across the line, but he's got to do that for his championship. It is Stefanuti Stocks Kawasaki. Van Breda out front ahead of Jaco Koos. Fantech Kawa of Kyle Robinson there in 3rd. Gareth Bezuidenhout just holds off Teddy Brooke. Brian Bontekonen, Appanna Ganapathy. What a recovery ride just ahead of Peter de Vos. Let's catch up then with Brian Bontekonen.
I know it looks like it's becoming a fashionable thing. Teddy and I race every weekend. Now we had a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't really know he was behind me, but I made a mistake. He got past, and then the chase was on. So yeah, it was cool. You know, Teddy goes. Keeps us all honest.
And our selected rider of the day, it's Teddy Brooke.
Surprised, thanks very much, because race 1 was terrible. I had a bad start, and I just couldn't catch up to anyone. And then race 2 got a good start. I caught up to Pete, passed him, caught Brian, fast Brian, which I'm proud of because it's difficult to pass. And then myself and Gareth had a very good dice until the end. So I'm very happy with race number 2.
Overall winner for the day, it's Graham van Breda.
It was another really nice day for us. We seem to be continuing our record of the perfect year. Managed to get, I think we're on the 4th pole and the 8th win. So really happy with that. I think that's the figures, but the crew, the team managed to get the bike even better for the second heat. They seem to have done this every single meeting this year. When the tyres wear out and stuff, they get the bike even better for us, easier to ride. I didn't get it all tired in the second heat, so it was nice. And once again, thanks to the sponsors, to Red Square, to Kawasaki, Bridgestone. Thanks again, the R11s were fantastic. And to my sponsors, Stefanuti Stocks, Motel. Thanks guys, really appreciate it.
Let's go down then to the TRP podium. It is Graham from Bidar ahead of Jaco Goos. And as you can see, Gareth Bazano holding down third place overall. Well done to our top 3 riders and all the competitors here at round number 5. Join us for round number 6 down on the 20th of July at Red Star Raceway out in Delmas. Until then, stay safe and we'll see you there. All the ZX10 Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by Red Square for ultimate activation.